Hello, everyone. This is Stacy. Welcome to The Landing. Welcome back to The Landing. We hope you have had a great holiday. This is part 2 of our conversation with Miss Emma. And if you thought the first episode was rich with stories, you're in for something special today. In this episode, we visit people and places through Miss Emma's eyes that have shaped her life. She shares stories that feel like they've been carried on our tides, memories passed down, lessons learned the hard way, and a life truly lived alongside salt water. Her story is one filled with family, resilience, and the kind of life that can only be understood if you've loved the water and let it shape who you are. So settle in and let's continue this beautiful conversation. I have got to ask you about something before I forget to ask you. My dad has told me that when he was a little boy, a circus came to the island and he can't find anybody to corroborate it. So he said, please ask Miss Emma about a circus.
I'll tell you, the first time it ever come,
Yes.
Do you know across from our schoolhouse now, we called it the Academy Field?
Academy Field, yes.
That Academy Field was where they had the first little schoolhouse.
Okay.
And we lived right down from that. We had moved farther up then.
Okay.
That lady that was the teacher in this little A-frame house, the first schoolhouse we ever had. But anyway, that's where the circus was at. So I went, and I was amazed. I don't think we even have a bridge then. We might have got the bridge by then.
Well, Dad said that
they come in on a boat,
that's
on
what
a
Daddy
barge.
said. Yeah,
they
on a barge.
They come in on a barge. And I'll tell you, I was the first one there, little girl, waiting for that to come because we knew it was coming. They had told us it was coming. And the elephant was the things.
Daddy has told me about this elephant. And I said, Daddy, you are telling stories. He's like, no.
No, there was an elephant. There was more than one elephant. I think it was 2 or 3. But there was one of them was a great big one. And they had put up a big tent. But the sides were open up, you know.
Yep.
And I remember the elephant more than anything else.
Yep. Well, okay, Daddy, I am sorry because I was like, you are making this up.
No, he didn't. It was true.
Yep. Well, he said that there was a circus here and it had a big elephant, like had all the things.
They had clowns. They did. They had all kinds of things. But the elephant, I remember, because I remember the mother one would walk. And she had a baby one, and there was one behind. This might have been the male, maybe, and the female, because I remember there's 3 and a baby one. And the one that was walking behind had his tail with her trunk around it.
Oh my goodness!
Her trunk with a tail around it, and they would walk all around. I remember that very well.
Now, do you remember about how old you were? Because Daddy said he was little.
He was little. Well, how old was your Daddy?
He's, they'll give me like 84, 83,
84, 83. But I'm 92, so I was real little. I do know.
So that would have been, you'd been about 8 or 10?
Yeah,
maybe?
About that age,
Do you remember? Yeah. Because he's told me, okay, the only person that on the island that would probably remember is Emma, so please ask her.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, Daddy, now this is truth or dare now, because if you
that is true.
That's what he has always said.
That is true.
No, okay, well, I said, well, I'm thinking about it, I better ask you.
Yeah.
So there was a circus on the island. Okay, Miss Emma, since Daddy was 100, batting 100 now, I'm going to ask you one more thing.
Okay.
This is something Daddy also claims. He said, and he said this throughout the years, that there once was a lady who lived over at the banks. Shackelford Banks with her baby, and they lived in a barrel.
True story.
True story?
I don't know if it's true or not. It could be true.
Could be true, but you've heard that.
I have heard. I got the book.
You've got to. Okay, tell us what you know, because Daddy knew very spotty details, but he's always said it.
All right. We had a real bad weather. I don't know whether it was a hurricane, because back then I was born in the hurricane, the 33 storm, and my mama said I never stopped. I was the baby. Anyway, after the storm was over, this young girl, they really didn't know what her name was, but they called her Sal.
Okay.
Sally, and they gave her a name because they said her mind wasn't really all that. She was tied on the hatch. You know, but back then on the top of a boat, they had a big hatch. You could pull it back, and the man could steer the boat and see where they were going. But if the weather was bad, they could pull it back over, and they had a window they could look through to dry.
Right.
She was tied with a piece of rope on that hatch. Tell you that, I'm gonna get a copper carrying that big lady.
Okay.
Anyway, she was tied down on that, and she washed ashore at Shackelford. I don't know whether it was the outside or the inside. It didn't say. She just washed ashore. And, of course, the people on Shackelford, the men and the women, ran and got her, and she was in very bad shape, they said, when they took her to one of the houses, and they doctored her and nursed her, but she really didn't know where she come from. She had no history of where she came from. She was just washed ashore on that hatch. And they finally got her better. And, of course, back then, all the houses was like most of one of the room or two rooms at the most. They had big families. So the big ships on the ocean shot side would throw these big, giant barrels. Daddy told me it was humongous barrels they would throw. In fact, I used to surf on them when we used to go out there when we were young. We used to surf on them big planks that come ashore with those same barrels.
Oh, my goodness.
Great big barrel. It was on the ocean side. They got one of them, and they pulled it way up on the shore in the hills and made her a little home out of it. And they made a door, put some little windows, I guess, in it. But anyway, they made her little home. The women still took care of her, supplied all her needs. And they found out that she was pregnant, going to have a baby. But like I say, the women and the men, they all took care of her, made sure she had something to eat. She was well taken care of. Well, she had this little boy. And they said every day, though, even before the little boy was born, she would go down and get in the water. And the porpoise, the reason they called her Porpoise Sal, they say she just, of course, a porpoise would do that. I know that.
Yeah, they're very friendly.
They swam beside me, to tell you the truth,
yes.
over there. And she would go get in the water and just play with, and they would all come and play with her, and she'd play with them, you know. That. But she had the baby, the little baby boy. And after she died, I don't know if the book said what they named that baby. I believe that baby did have a name, but I'm not sure what she named that baby. But after she had the baby, and he started growing up and get big, but she'd take the baby, the little boy, go down and play with the porpoises, and that's the reason they called her Porpoise Sal. Anyway, to make a long story short, he grew up, and he went off in the war. I don't know, it had to be World War I. He left home and went in the war, and she never saw him again. Back then, so you didn't get me. I know even when Garland was in the Army in the Korean War, I'd go 25 days before I'd ever get a letter.
Wow.
So she didn't see him anymore. And they said after that boy, she grieved for that boy, you know, her son, and he didn't come back. And one day she went missing, but they saw her tracks, her foot tracks, where she had walked down to the water, and they never saw her again.
Oh, my goodness.
Good story.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so, Daddy, I'm going to stop. You're 2 for 2. Okay. Wow. Well, thank you. And look for that book. I know
I got it.
Okay. Awesome.
I did lose it because I lost my house in the hurricane. Florence. I lost everything I had. Lost a lot of my writings. But some people still had some of them, and Judy had a lot of copies because she would help me do it. You know?
Yes.
And but I still think not too long ago I saw that one of them.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that.
I'll go through them.
Okay.
Can I tell you about the bridges?
Please do. I want you to.
Well, I remember our first bridge. We would literally, I had some friends up there that lived up there named Eloise, them on way up to the other end of the island, and we've done everything along the shore. My mama would say, Em, you're worrying me to death. I don't never know where you're at. The rest of the young one stays in the neighborhood, and you're gone. But Eloise was one of my best friends. I loved her to death. But anyway, she was Lewis. And I would walk all the way along the shore, and I knew that everybody knew it was building a bridge. It was just a little. When we first got the cars, those Model Ts. I dated in a Model T.
Oh wow!
Yes, I did.
I bet so.
Dated in a Model T.
Oh, that's so fun.
But anyway, it was fun. You didn't have that many cars running around then. We didn't have none, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And I was big before I ever got my bicycle because we didn't know what these things was.
Wow.
But anyway, the first bridge, and there was men that lived across the bridge. I forgot what their name. Walter Chadwick. The old man Walter Chadwick, the grandfather of them all.
Yeah.
He was the one we didn't have that many boats that was going through the bay then like they are now, you know. But he would crank it open by hand.
Oh, wow.
To let the boats through. And to tell you the truth, it was just wide enough for like one car, and it went right straight across. Right where our bridge is now, the new one, that's where that was at, on that side. But
really?
They had, you know how crooked our bridge is now? They had just put down some new light poles and a concrete, so they had to go around them and come back. That's the reason that end, and we already own that end there. Right. That belonged to up to the island people, where the end of that bridge went across, although it was on the straight side.
Wow.
We own that, and we own that. But I call it our crooked bridge. I named every one of them. I named the first one our old wooden bridge. It was made out of concrete, old blocks, whatever they got to make it with. And the other one, I named it our rinky-dink bridge, because when you went over it, you go bump, 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 right on down.
I tell you, when you were gone for a while and you came back and you heard that bump, 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 that was good.
I did write about that. Christmas. I wrote a Christmas poem about our rinky-dink bridge.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, and this new one I called this one our snake bridge, and I did help cut the ribbon on it, on our new one.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
you did.
But I did write about, I wrote a lot about Christmas. And I wrote The Night Before Christmas, Harkers Island style.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I can't remember it all right, but I do know that it was the night before Christmas. Santa Claus was coming through Corsine. He hit a shoal and he got a grain. And he said, my, what will I do? I had it to rhyme, you know. He said, those kids are going to be mad with me. So he waded ashore just about to Carl Lewis's old store. You remember Carl Lewis's old store? Carl Lewis's old shore. And he had all the toys on his back. And I rhymed it then, but I can't. I wish I'd have brought it with me.
I do too.
And but anyway, the way I ended it was, let's see, he went from house to house to see that the children were all snuggled in their beds, you know. And he had put out some bikes was already rusting. You see, I can't. I used to knew it all by heart, but I can't right now, you know. And how those children are going to be so mad at me, you know.
How sweet.
But and then I one of the verses I had wrote about if they were naughty, they would get a cornbread dumpling instead of a toy. You know, we used to say that.
Yeah.
If you're bad that year, you're going to get a cornbread dumpling in your stocking.
In your stockings.
Yeah.
Yep. Some people would get coal, but we would get cornbread dumplings.
We would get cornbread dumplings, old cornbread. I still do the cornbread dumplings.
I do too.
I still do Thanksgiving at my house.
Yes, holidays are coming, so now's a good time to talk. What are some traditions that y'all still, because y'all do Sunday meals too together, don't you?
Well, no, I don't do them like I used to did, but mostly now on Sundays, me, my brother Manly, and sister Helen, after church, because the youngers now got their own families, they do their own thing, but we go to Moore's in Moorhead.
Oh, that's
we
a good
love
choice.
Moore's. That's a good place to eat.
But you do it together.
But we do it together, just about every Sunday.
Because I remember growing, Tracy and I were the same age.
Yeah.
And I remember them going to your house.
Oh, yeah. It's just been a few years out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's neat, though, that you still do carry that
Oh,
tradition.
yeah, we do
eating
have
together.
Thanksgiving, and sometimes whatever, have oyster roast. And we did a lot of it to Brenda's, but now Alan has kind of took that over. My grandson Alan, my oldest grandson Alan, now, he's 49. But he does a great job. In fact, we was there last week.
Really?
He had cooked mullets on the grill. He had oysters. He's got all kinds of things. Like I say, they can make any things with their hands.
Yes.
He's got 2 or 3 rooms on porches with the roof.
Yes.
And he's got one on one end where the wind can't get to. He's got things where if it's cold, you have wind. And I fried the most cornbread anybody ever fried for that.
I like
and those buttermilk biscuits.
Oh my word!
Some people like biscuits. Those little buttermilk biscuits. I fried biscuits and
so
cornbread
good.
and
so good. Daddy talks about he wants to do he calls it an old timey oyster roast. He wants the clusters of oysters.
They won't let you.
That's what he
They
was
won't
saying.
let you.
He said you can't get them now.
They got to be 3 inches long.
Yes.
Or you'd get the biggest tea. You'd never get out of jail.
That's what he's saying. He said, there ain't nothing I want but a cluster of oysters in the fire, in our oyster like we used to. But
and
you can't
can
do
get,
it.
no matter how many's in the boat, you can get 2 bushels. So Gary and Tom and Alan went, and they sat there. There was 3 of them on the boat. They had to go 2 days to get them, 2 different days.
Wow.
To get them
for your crowd.
For all of the crowd. And everybody. Only my crowd. Anybody on the island wants to eat oysters. Yeah. But anyway, they had to sit there and they had to just numb them off. And for him to put them on the grate. Wow. While Alan was frying them, he cut some mullets. We took the roe out. I get the roe because they don't love roe. I get the roe, and I divide it with the older people.
Yes.
I give them some of it. But Alan takes those big mullets, and he's got a homemade grill. It's got to be out of a 55-gallon drum.
Oh, wow.
One on the bottom and one on top, but they cut out, where the wind can't blow it out.
Oh, me.
And I don't know where, and he makes his own sauce stuff to put on the top of it,
Ooh, I bet that's good.
That was the best thing I ever ate.
Oh, my goodness.
And the mullets now, those big mullets are real fat. Oh, my, wasn't that good. And while he was doing that, Garrett was cooking the oysters.
Oh, man.
And he's got a great big table that he's made that you could stand all around it with a hole in the middle of it.
30 shells.
And with a big drum on the bottom where your shells just goes right in there.
Oh, my word. Okay, Tiffany and Alan, if you're listening, I'm going to stop in sometime. Wow. Now, you've mentioned roe. How do you cook your mullet roe?
I'm going to tell you how my daddy done them when we lived down on the shore.
You
I used to say, Daddy, didn't the flies get on? He said, in the winter, we don't have flies in,
Yeah.
But Daddy would dry them out. He'd put them on the roof of the porch, and he'd stand on, when he wanted, I didn't like them like that. They were...
So he would literally let them air dry?
The sun would dry them out, just about cook them.
Okay.
But they were too chewy for me. I didn't like them. I like to take them right out the mullet, right in the fry pan.
Oh, wow,
now,
really?
The way I cook them, but they're good in a light bread biscuit. Yes, I still do light bread biscuits. But you take a light bread biscuit. Now I'm going to cook one and put the light bread biscuits in the pan that morning so they'll be nice and pretty round,
Yeah.
in the evening. But anyway, you wash it, you take it out. And there's art to cutting them out of that.
There is an art, and
I
can't do it.
You see, that belly is so thin when it blows out with that.
I cut the roe. I can't do it.
There is the art. You need a knife with one little point on the bottom of it.
Okay.
And you do it. You cut the throat.
And
you have it upside down. You cut the throat, and you start from under that throat very lightly. Cut that, and it will just bust right out without being cut. Now, if Gary does pretty good with some of them, but he don't mean to like what they do. But anyway, I take mine and I wash them. I put my grease in my pan. I don't cook mine fast, but I'll let the grease kind of get warm, a little bit warmer, And
do you salt and pepper it?
Yeah, I salt and pepper it when I put it in the pan. Then when I flip it over, I salt and pepper the other side. But I'll take mine and I'll take my knife, put some little slits in it, because the rows are big.
Yeah.
I'll put my little slits in it. And then when I'll keep turning it over, and I do the same to the other side. And I'll keep taking the turner, and I'll flatten it and flatten it and flatten because I like mine nice and brown. And then, buddy, you put that between with some tartar sauce.
I've never had tartar sauce on it either.
Yeah, put a little bit of tartar sauce and put that between that hot light bread biscuit. You got something good.
Oh my!
I can make a meal out of that with a cup of coffee.
Oh me! So now, when your dad did it and he put the rose,
he put them on the roof of the porch.
And I've heard of folks doing that. Did you cook it, or was that cooked?
No, my Mama would still cook it a little bit.
In the frying pan.
Yeah, in a frying pan. Yeah.
Daddy, the best way. I don't love roe.
Oh, I love it.
The best
but
way.
It don't love me.
It don't. No. Daddy would take it and he would wrap it in foil, and this is when we had a fireplace, and he'd put it in the ashes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now my grandmama did it like that.
Ooh. Yeah. And like you said, put it in light bread biscuit. Yeah. My light roll.
My grandmama had a 2-story house right where Barbara's Harbor is. Now we had the smaller one out front of, but my grandmama had a big one. I always said I wanted a house just like hers, but I never got it.
No.
It was they built them sort of square like. The roof was caught kind of water ran off that. Put the most windows in it's ever been made, but we didn't have the highway then. When she built her house, they just come straight across. But my Rose parents come from Cape. Okay. My mother's parents come from Diamond City.
Okay.
Shackelford. But anyway, they just come right and settled, and everybody took their own little strip.
Right.
you know. But my grandma, I can see it right now, that house. All the way across the front, which was facing the water then. It had
the front wouldn't
see,
be
they were carpenters. They were they probably took the trees they cut down to build there, and they built the house with it.
Right.
But anyway, it had a porch all the way on the bottom, all the way across, and one all the way on the top. I remember from upstairs, you could go out on that little porch, look at the Cape, look at everything.
Wow.
Been asleep many nights watching that Cape, like I go in and out, off and on. But anyway, the kitchen and they had most of the bedrooms were upstairs, and downstairs was like a sitting area and maybe one bedroom, because Mama's house was like that, and the rest was like a big sitting area where everybody sat around and fellowshipped and talked. Back then, people, the parents visited and they talked to each other, and when you know what was going on with the whole family in that day, like we come to school, and we ate. That's what we done. We sat around that big long table, the family of 17. I did ride by our whole family of 17.
Wow.
And with Oma. And Oma sat one end, Daddy to the other, and Ma never sat down. And you didn't reach across that table and grab nothing. Mama put it in your plate, or Oma. Put it in your
she
plate,
served your plate.
and you eat what you. That's another story. But now my grandmama's kitchen was built separate from the house. Most of them back then, they did that.
Was that because of fires? Or?
I don't know, but my grandma called me one time. She said, well, we eat mostly seafood and stuff, and if you cook it, it stinks up the whole house.
It does.
She did tell me that.
Grandma was smart. That it does.
But you come out the back door, which is facing the road now, but it wasn't road, like I said, the highway wasn't out then, and you make a right turn, and they had a like a walkway made out of boards, and it even had a little, didn't have nothing on the sides, but they did have like a little roof all the way down in case the weather was bad.
Right.
And that little kitchen was facing the house, like a little A-frame.
Oh my goodness.
It was just that one room, just big enough for a kitchen. And she called it a hearth. It was a homemade fireplace. Now she made light bread.
That
Do you know that they didn't have yeast in? I don't know how they ever got it to where they could get. She would always take a piece of that dough and set it aside, and it was sour. That's what they used for yeast.
Really?
And she had a paddle, something like a pizza paddle, and she's gonna take pieces out of the oven.
In it
yeah. She put the biscuits in the pan, the light bread, and put them in the pan, and it had a grate over the fire on the top. And I've seen her do it many times. She would put the pan on that, and then when she'd take it out, it'd be hot. She'd have to take that paddle to get it back. You talk about something good. The milk road wasn't bad on them.
I think anything be good
and the butter, when we finally got we didn't get butter then. It come in a little round piece, and it was white. I remember this. When we first got margarine, it wasn't better with margarine. When we first got margarine, and you got a little yellow package of stuff in a piece of plastic, and you put it in it, and you had to stir it up.
What?
You said you seen those old-timey butter dishes. That's what went in it.
But that's why you needed the dish, because you had to...
Yeah, you had to keep it in that. Mm.
Oh, no, I didn't know that happened.
Now, they did churn their butter, but we didn't get the milk and stuff on the island like they did.
Wow. Now, you had mentioned, too, when you were growing up, that you didn't have electricity.
No.
So, like, you had candles?
Can I tell you about the war, World War II?
I
was in that war. I'll tell you, we had lamps, homemade lamps, and candles. My grandmama made the candles. She made the soap.
She would dip the candles?
Yeah, she did. She made the candles. I don't know how she done it, but she did.
Wow.
And she made the candles, and she made the soap that we used, that we washed the clothes with.
Oh, my gosh.
Had to wash outdoors on an old-timey washboard. I washed them anyway.
Wow.
But anyway...
But tell me about the war.
The war. World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara's Harbor, on the shore. Mm-hmm. And I was a little girl, and I was very curious about things. I wouldn't know what was going on. So nights, we would have to put quilts over the windows.
To make it dark.
And we'd have one light, one candle, or one lamp. Most of the time, a candle. So, see, the airplanes was going over. Mm-hmm. The Marines, the Navy, was to the Cape. And airplanes was going over.
So you heard
the Army was to the Cape. They had an Army base to the Cape. I've been there many times in that. It was underground.
What?
It was underground, yeah. Let me tell you, they left the K rations, they called it, in the plastic bags. They burned them. Us youngers dug them up after the war. We go eat them. They had a jail underground, and they had on the ocean side. Mm-hmm. Right by my grandmama's house. My grandmama had a house over there. Right by my grandmama's house, there was a big hill, and one of those cannons was on the top of that hill, looking that way towards the eastern banks, that way, ocean. And then this side, on the right-hand side, this ocean. They had, I can see those, they're way out in the water now.
Wow.
Where the hills is washed away.
Right.
They had 3 big cannons sitting up there.
So that's what you hear people talk about, the gun mounts.
The gun mount, yeah.
So
I saw them.
Wow.
We played after the war was over. We went in there and we had the best time in underground. Us youngers.
Wow.
Because we lived over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my grandmama's house was still there then.
Wow.
But
so now at night, you mentioned having the dark
they
out.
had they was, I think it was. I got pictures of those from Earl Davis. In
really?
Charles Davis's book, he wrote, Earl Davis had took pictures of those war U-boats, they called them.
Okay.
They come around Hatteras and come that way out in the ocean, and they were fighting over there. Yeah. They sent 5 of them.
Yeah.
They're,
now, do you remember being scared?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about that in a minute. But anyway, they sent 5 of them out there, and there was the men could not go. That was our way of life then. You couldn't go fishing out. You dare get in that boat and go to Cape. Not now. There's no way. They gave us food stamps for ever how many was in the family. And they wouldn't.
But where did you cash them in?
You didn't cash them in. Earl Davis's father, Charles Davis, had a store up about the center of the island on the waterfront.
Okay, yes.
And only Daddy, could walk there in the daytime and go to that store and get what we needed. And in the daytime, Daddy could go out there and catch us clams, oysters, what to the landing, right to the landing.
Right.
But of the night, when it started getting dark, we couldn't even go to school times. They wouldn't let us go to school for a while.
Wow.
But anyway, there was a trawler from Moorhead. Didn't obey the rules. With 5 on it, and went up there and got blown to smithereens.
Oh my goodness!
You know, our force was going over then.
Right, and you can't. Yeah. They didn't know who was friend or foe. Or
they shouldn't have gone. Because I know our fishermen didn't go out.
Yeah. Wow. So you mentioned, yes, you were scared. So,
Oh yes, I do. I remember. I slept with my grandmama until I got married. My Rose grandma. My other grandmama was dead when I was born. She died. She had died at childbirth, and Kathleen was born.
oh wow.
But anyway, my Rose grandmama, I slept with her every night
I love
till I got married, and let's see, she died. I got married in June. She died in November, I believe it was 2nd of November, and Garland had to leave the 15th. So I lost both of them at the same time. My world had turned upside down.
Oh wow, yes.
But anyway.
So would she at night comfort you?
Yeah, oh yeah. She's the one I learned to love history from, because I was a writer, believe it or not. I hadn't much education, just 10th grade, but I loved to write. I loved to write poems.
And you still do?
Well, I can't see very well anymore, so I don't do it anymore. I love to do it, but I can't see well.
Yeah.
And history and all that stuff I got wrote down.
Yeah. But would she tell you stories? And
yeah, she'd tell me about how it was when she was a little girl. And you ought to hear some stories she told me about. Their floors didn't even have bottoms in them.
Oh, wow.
They were sand.
Sand.
And then she said later when they got floors in them, they made their own brooms.
And that was over?
That Cape.
The Cape.
Yeah, she was born to the Cape. My daddy was born to the Cape.
Wow.
You know what?
Wow.
You know what? Our last name was Rose.
No way.
And later it was changed to Rose. Now, I ought not be telling this. If you want to bleep it out, you can. But I firmly believe that my Rose family from the Cape might be part of that lost colony.
Could be.
It could be. Now, I mean, this is not factual.
Yeah.
But I do know I had my DNA, Tracy, 2-3 years ago, had my DNA tested. Mm-hmm. And I'm 64% England, where they come from, England.
Yeah.
And the rest is Irish.
Well,
so
there you go.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's one place I did want to go in the archives over there, but I never got a chance.
Uh-huh.
I'm just speculating this.
Yeah, no, I would.
And then I'll tell you my dream that I had.
Speculate and tell the dream. That's right. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying none of this to be true. Well, I will say.
Right, disclaimer, folks. This may or may not be true, but we want to hear
in my heart, because I do know my last name was Rose, and I know the Roses, as far as we could go back in history, the Roses was the first ones ever lived on Cape Lookout.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Rose, later they changed it to Rose. I know that for a fact. Mm-hmm. But anyway, when they left Manio, Manio's got the name from our Indian chief.
Right.
Our Indian chief right here on the end of the island, right where we're sitting right now, was named Manio. You know the story of how they got there.
Yes.
What was his name? John White. John White. They came in, put the colony out. Mm-hmm. They went back to get more after they got them settled in Manio. Right. They went back to get more, but that Spanish-American War broke out, and they couldn't get back. Mm-hmm. And it was a long time before they got back. Now, this is true. This is a true story.
Yeah, this part's
real. And when they come back, they went in Virginia. Mm-hmm. They didn't come back to Beaufort where they come in our inlet. They went in Virginia, and the first child that was born in Virginia died. Yeah. Now, that's true. You know that. Yeah. You know I'm telling the truth. Yeah. They waited, the little colony. I don't know how many was in the colony. I speculated maybe 20, 30. Mm-hmm. They waited and waited and waited for them to come back.
And they never did.
With more people, supplies, and they never did. So they split up. Now, I know this for a fact. Part of them went inland, and it has been said they went in Plymouth. Mm-hmm. One of my doctors from that way told me that they had history there of that some of them went into Plymouth. The ones that was left, some people said they went down that way, but I don't know. They come this way. I knew they did. Mm-hmm. Because I'll tell you why. They left markings they made canoes. They found the evidence where they had made their homemade. They cut down a pine tree, make a canoe, chop it out, and make canoes out of it. Mm-hmm. And they would travel days so far. Then of a night they would stop. Every time they left an arrow on a tree next to the water, pointing towards us.
In our direction.
In our direction. Now I'm going to tell you what I dreamed.
Okay.
I dreamed they came as. Now I dreamed this, and dreams is just imaginary things. because I love history. But anyway, I dreamed this, that when they come to Shell Point, there was that little waterway. They had to go across there when they come to Shell Point. That of the night, don't you know they sent scouts out of the night to see what was ahead before they took those women, children, whoever it was with them.
Yeah.
When they got to the end of the island and they saw those engines, and they said they were tall. When they got right where we're sitting right now, when they got to the end of Shell Point and they saw those engines, they went back and they said, there's no way we can go any farther that way. But there was Easter Banks right straight across.
Right.
Now, this is a dream. I dreamed they got in their canoes and they went right straight across. Well, over there was nothing to stop them. Nobody was ever over there on that Easter. And they took their time traveling, and they made that village to the Cape. We always named it the Hook Village. They got a new name for it now, but Islanders still call it Hook Village because it's in the hook of the Cape.
That's
where those boats used to come in. For years and years and years, nobody. They were so far in the woods, surrounded. If you go in there now, a lot of it's been cut down.
Yeah.
But for years and years, nobody even knew that village was in there.
Yeah.
Now, that's where my parents come from, my Rose parents.
Wow.
Now, like I say, I'm not saying none of it for a fact. Some of it is true, of course, it's history.
Yeah.
But some of it, like I just told, that I surely believe.
But it sure does make
Let
sense.
me tell you, if you knew how many times, how many places I have been, and they said, where'd you get that British accent?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, where do you think we got it? Only on the island, only the Cape Lookout did we have that British accent. I still got it.
Yeah.
My young ones ain't got it.
Yeah.
Because they say, Nanny, you talk the funniest.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll keep it, I reckon, till the day I die.
Well, you better. That's right. I love it.
But anyway.
I love all that.
Yeah.
Well, our time for today is up, but
Continue.
I really do.
Yeah.
I want to hear more from you, but I love this. The time has flown, and I appreciate you coming.
Yes, ma'am.
But look, next time I want you to bring some of your poetry.
I write out of the car, but I ain't got time now.
Yeah, I want you to bring that, and I want you to share some of that with us.
Yeah, I wrote about the museum.
Uh-huh.
I put one in the museum one time where David, because I mostly wrote about David. I love David a lot.
Yes.
I put one in there in a frame in his room, and it disappeared. I don't know what went with it.
Well,
But I wrote one about the museum. I wrote about the lighthouse. I wrote about Shell Point.
yeah. And I want to read your Christmas one.
Huh?
Yeah, I want to read some of your
About
Christmas
the night
ones.
before Christmas.
Yes.
I'll be sure and bring that one.
Yes, I do.
And my brother, my hero.
Yes.
That's what I wrote that about my brother.
All right, so
The one done the boat.
you'll bring those.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be a treat as well. Well, thank you, and I love you.
I love you too, baby.
You are a treasure. Thank you again for joining us to The Landing. This podcast is brought to you by the Core Sound Waterfowl Museum and Heritage Center. I am your host, Stacy Davis Baisden, and today's podcast was produced by April Davidson. Tune in next week as we continue learning, sharing, and remembering together. If you'd like to hear more, check out our previous episodes where you get your podcasts. Until then, stay safe and be kind.